Hello, everyone. This is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
And
Who are you again?
Waldorf, I think. I almost lost it in the middle of that one.
Yeah. You were reading ahead.
I was. This is our look at the sneak peeks for the Kingdom of Equitaine.
KOE.
First sneak peeks at one of the armies we both have.
Yes. Well, we've had some of the other armies, but this one.
Both have.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yes. Well, we both have. Yeah, first of it, we both have. Yes.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Again, you can find this link. These links.
Not true. We both have Empire of Sonstal.
We do. I guess we do, don't we? You can find this link in the forums under the general discussion.
ACS update thread, general discussion.
And also in the dashboard under a post by Blonde Beer.
That guy from Luxembourg.
Luxembourg? Okay. Let's, moving on. So, Kingdom of Equitaine, the first update they came out with, the sneak peek, was a first look at a 2.0 item. And the link finally links.
Okay.
And they come up with the Defender Shield.
Yes.
When using this enchanted shield...
So it's a shield enchantment. Shield enchantment.
The bearer...
shield enchantment.
The bearer always has a defensive skill of 8
mm-hmm.
and agility of 0. So he attacks last, but he's got a defensive skill of 8.
Yes. Who's going to be using this?
And enemy models with a strength or resilience 5 or more, excluding weapon bonuses, that are in base contact with the bearer must allocate all their attacks towards the bearer if they're able to.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst any knight strength is in his armor, this is just kind of a skill die. Okay, this is just kind of a fluff thing to go with it. So you get defensive skill 8 and enemy models with a base strength or toughness of 5. I'm going to use the old names because that's what it makes sense right now until we get used to the newer ones.
Right.
Has to hit you.
Mm-hmm. So it helps shield your knights.
That's interesting.
It's interesting.
That really is, because that kind of bringing back one of the Equitaine strength of old was the character wall, and this is kind of bringing it back.
Yeah, it's an indirect way of doing that. And the defense skill...
I'm assuming this is a one-of-a-kind item, but...
Yeah. Oh, it's an enhanced... Yeah, I don't think there's any repeated armor enhancements, are there?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think it's only the banners have that ability, right? And the defensive skill 8 could make you be hit on a 5 by lower weapon skill opponents.
Correct.
And there is a number of monsters that have weapon skills of 3. So...
This is interesting.
And they would be strong, so yeah.
Yeah, this is actually a kind of an interesting item.
Yeah, so the key here is getting your guy in contact.
It's a shield enchantment. I wonder if the old helmet for the rerollable armor is going to still be there.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
If the old helmet for the rerollable armor, now you have a good armor rerollable, and you're making everybody hit you. That's kind of neat.
That can be nice, yeah.
And then just
what does it say about all that stuff there?
Talk about why they did it.
Oh, yeah, that's just the background. And
more background, which is nice.
Yeah. So it's an interesting item.
It is.
We have to see what other things you can do with it. But it's
have to see what item. Cost and what it can be combined with, but it's looking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have...
News from the ladies.
News from the ladies.
Yes. Hello, ladies.
Next, look at 2.0 items.
Yes.
New faces questing... All right, we'll start off with Banner of the Last Charge.
Rank and file cavalry models in Bear's unit gain impact hits X, where X is the number of full ranks in the unit, provided that those ranks are comprised entirely of cavalry model. These impact hits are always resolved with Strength 4 and AP 1.
All right, so if you're a unit of 9 knights, you get 3 impact hits. Strength 4, AP 1.
So instead of getting
12,
3 Strength 5, you're getting
the old
3
Banner
Strength
Last Charge.
4. So it's worse. Well, it's better for bigger lances because they have more ranks.
But the old one did what?
The other one was just impact hits. So
But didn't the impact hits
they got stronger as you had more ranks.
stronger, so it's conditionally better.
So yeah, because the old one, if you had 6 guys, which was a pretty much minimal size unit, then you were strength 4 with your impact hits. So
but if you had 9 guys, it was strength 5.
Correct.
So you had 3 strength 5 if 9.
Right.
Now you have 3 strength 4 at 9.
Yeah.
At 12, you had 3 strength 6.
6.
And now you have 4 strength 4.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So it knocked down the top end of it, the high strength charge.
It made it so you can't use these guys to take
Monster
down
hunters.
monsters. Yes.
Okay.
The big lances can't take down monsters, and so if you have 1 rank, you're okay. If you're under, and if you're, I guess you're under strength down to 1 rank, you're
You
a
still
little bit
get
better.
your strength 4 hits.
Yeah. But it's by rank.
Well, you're only
so-
getting 1 strength 4 hit if you're 1 rank.
Yes.
So it's worse.
Yes. It's worse for you're not going to see this on before you could think about putting it on a on MSU units or even on aspirants, but now you're not going to see.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not actually liking this.
Okay.
Because also rank and file.
Right.
Yeah. So if you have a character in the front, you don't get it for that. You don't get it for that spot.
No, it doesn't matter. It's number of full ranks.
Yeah.
It's number of full ranks. If there's 3 guys in the front, even if it's 2 character and a guy, that's 1 full rank, which gives you 1 strength 4 hit. Right?
I don't know. Rank
What are
and
you
file
missing?
models in Bear's unit gain impact hits.
Oh.
Not so the characters don't gain
Where
impact
X
hits.
is the number of full ranks in the unit. So.
Of cavalry models.
Wait a minute, though.
So if you have a character,
So
in
if I
here-
have 9 rank and file models, does each one of the front ones gain impact hit 3?
models in Bear's unit gain impact 3, where X is the number of full ranks in the unit, provided those units are comprised of cavalry models. These
Yeah. So each guy in my front rank gained 3 strength 4 hits.
Yeah, so you have
If I'm got a unit of 9, if they're rank and file.
if they're rank and file,
If I put a character in there, I lose some.
I lose at least 1.
Well, I lose, yeah.
If I have 2 characters, I lose 2.
Huh. Okay. So this actually, if this reads as I'm reading it, if this is actually what I'm reading, this is actually really good with a non-character
So Grail Knights.
lance against rank and file. Against rank and file, because strength 4 AP1 is not going to do much to anybody but rank and file.
Right.
But, I mean, I have a unit of 12 regular knights, they charge something. All of a sudden, I've added 12 impact hits.
Yeah.
That's strength 4 AP1. I'm going to hammer a unit with this thing. If what I'm reading is right. That seems to be what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. I like that. That's really a nice item.
That's interesting. I'm still. I mean, on Grail Knights, it's potent because you're not going to have characters in with them usually.
Grail Knights, you're doing 9 strength 4 AP1.
Yeah.
If it's a full strength unit.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. 8 until we read one of the further sneak
Yes,
peeks.
exactly.
Okay. I'm worried that this is not written correctly.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm worried that it's only does 1 impact hit per rank.
Yeah.
Not each guy in the front does 1 impact hit per rank.
That's what I was reading, that it does 1 impact hit per rank, and the rank only counts if it's all rank and file.
Right.
Which sounds terrible.
Right. The way you're reading it, it's terrible.
Yeah.
The way I'm reading
You're reading
it's
it.
fantastic.
It's good. But you're really only going to put it on Grails because you need the characters.
No, I'll put it on normal unit. And
Well, you
run
play
into
with all
something.
regular. You play with all regular guys.
I
but-
do, because I'm nuts. Anyway, that brings us to the
Yeah.
banner of Knightly Advance.
Yes. Knightly Advance. I'm not sure I like that name, but 0 to 2 per army. 1 use only. May be activated during the controlling player's movement phase. Bear's unit gains plus 2 march rate, spectral movements, and lose scoring. All friendly units that are treated as impassable terrain. This lasts until the end of the turn.
Okay. So you lose scoring until the end of the turn. So you can't use it on the final turn to grab an objective.
Yes.
If you go last, you can't use it to do that.
Right. And it's important. From what we've seen, it looks like there's going to be more magic banners in core again. So yeah, that can be useful. I mean, that one turn you got some nasty terrain in front of you.
Yeah.
You can surprise somebody.
Yeah, I mean, they have a banner right now that does this. But it's one use only. This
there?
Banner is there. Yes,
The common one's still there?
I believe so. No. I think it's an Equitaine banner.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, I like this.
Yeah, you get two of them potentially two of them in an army, or one unit can get it twice or whatever.
But I don't think that bumps your march rate, and this does a little bit.
Yeah,
which is
correct.
also a little bit better.
Correct. Well, that one just had Strider. So interesting. Okay. Because Strider, you couldn't go through buildings, right?
Yeah. After
Spectrum
reading
of
this
you can.
description here, I think I'm correct in the way
Okay.
I read this. It says this banner is actually more powerful the fewer characters you have in the unit,
Yes.
as you would lose an entire column of attacks.
Okay.
So for every character you have up front, you lose all those
Okay, so it
attacks.
is that way. So yeah.
So a unit of 12 knights, if you got a unit of 12 knights, each guy up front does 4 strength 4 impact hits.
Right.
Anyway, sorry to bounce
Okay.
back.
No, that's fine. So that makes it
That makes it a nice banner.
yeah, especially for those types of units.
Yep.
I
A
don't,
unit without a character.
I don't feel those, so I don't know what that is. But unless they're aspirants, and well, I guess now too, because before with aspirants, you always fielded them wide because of the old frenzy rules.
Right.
With the new frenzy rules, there's no point.
There's no point to aspirants, except for they charge further, I guess. If they still get that.
If they get that bonus, yeah, there's no. Well, we don't know what the devastating charge rules are going to be for them. Yeah, they may go the way of the Dodo Bird too. We'll see.
Yeah, they may go the way of all frenzied units.
Yeah.
How are quests changing? So this is a change to the quest value.
Questing oath. Okay. Model parts with this special rule, and the questing oath, of course, is what you can put on. You can pay for it to upgrade your characters for either a Grail Oath or a questing
And
oath.
the questing knights.
And
get
then
this.
the questing knights have it, and in the past, the Knights Forlorn had it also. So,
Okay.
which were the foot knights. Model parts with this special rule ignore the effects of opponent's fear. Okay. Gain +1 to hit models with fear. So +1 to hit
If something causes fear.
for against a model that causes fear. If it's a majority of the models. Gain
unit
+2 AR.
when declaring a
When
charge.
declaring a charge against any unit containing a model with
AR.
AR.
Advance.
Advance
Not the
rate?
advance rate. Maybe it's the advance,
Advance rate. Yes, that's what it is. They charge farther. Yes,
Okay.
+2 advance rate. They have the fear gold rolls. Models with this attribute may use a great weapon and a shield together, which is what they can currently do,
Okay.
but may not use a lance, that's the same. The first round of combat models attacking with a great weapon may use them as a spear or as a light lance.
Okay, so if you're mounted, you can use your great weapon
As a light lance. So instead of right now they're strength 4, so they'd be strength 5 on the charge.
And your initiative goes up.
And you get to use your regular initiative, because right now it's 4, which would be 5 with a charge
With the
bonus.
charge. Okay.
Assuming they don't change that. And then the spears, I'm assuming that means we're going to give spears to the Knights Forlorn. If that's the question, then they get the spear rules, which is makes them something you don't want to charge. Okay. However, it's still an ongoing discussion. The questing vow was overperforming, so everyone took it because the other ones weren't any good. I think a big part due to the number of hardened shield GW quests, because that was the only options you had with that.
What?
That was the only thing that was worth taking with the.
Yeah, because you're going last anyway.
You're
So
going
the
last
hard
anyway.
shield was almost
with
an
the minus is
auto-include.
auto include, and since you could use your shield to help your armor save, so
Correct.
it was, you wouldn't normally take it, and you would never take the.
He gave you the 1-up armor.
And you were paying the same price for the Grail, and it was +1 weapon scale, which was, in situations was okay, but it wasn't worth what you got. But yeah, okay. So yeah, so the fear is nice because I like that. Actually, I like to see that more.
They ignore fear.
Yeah, things that
And
are.
they're +1 to hit fear causers.
So they've kept, and basically they've kept them as the anti-monster
Right.
cavalry, although they are better in the grind than regular cav is, because after the first turn, and they have a choice too. They don't have to. They may.
They can use your great weapons.
Yeah, and then after the first turn, they're going to be on their great weapons and staying. They're going to be at strength 6 grinding. So not not a huge number of attacks, but
+1 to hit against the fear causers.
but +1 against the fear causers, and not worrying about the fear should they lose is still pretty good.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, so they've definitely buffed the Grail Knights, questing Knights. I meant to say, sorry. Yes.
And now we go to the Knights
Forlorn.
Forlorn.
So what do they do? Questing Oath, which we saw, heavy armor, shield, so 3 up. They have the Blessing, which we don't know what that's going to be yet. They have a great weapon, so we stop Forlorn Training.
Shield is 4 up, not 3 up.
Heavy armor, shields, yeah, 4 up. I'm sorry. Forlorn Training. Forlorn Training attacks against models with devastating charge lose this ability. Okay.
Attacks against the model with.
So anybody that has
Anybody that
devastating
has
charge,
devastating charge loses devastating
right?
charge.
And now devastating charge and thunderous charges together.
Okay.
So
So basically, people lose their lance attacks against you.
um,
That's what I'm reading.
Lance gives devastating charge now. Yes, it does. So yeah. So cavalry does not want to attack these guys, especially if they can get
Because devastating charge is the new combined
correct.
thunderous charge and devastating.
So you charge in. I believe these guys are initiative 4. So if you charge them, they count as a spear. They're going to be initiative 6. They're going to be, let's see, strength 5 plus an additional AP.
They're strength 5.
They're strength 4, but this. Oh, I'm sorry, spear doesn't give a +1. What am I talking about? They're strength 4 with the additional AP, so they'll be AP 3.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, no calves charging this.
Yeah, you don't want to charge this. Then after that, they're hacking you at strength 6. So, so they're definitely the anti-cav infantry
That's actually interesting.
force. I think it's kind of cool. Kind of makes you think of the British Knights at the end of the 100 Years' War, the defeating French mounted cavalry after they
Right.
was it Chalons after they ran down all their archers because they got new armor. So yeah. No, I think that's kind of a neat thing, a rock paper scissors unit. I like that in the game.
Yep.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I like both these.
Yeah, I mean, because Knights Forlorn had gone the way of the Dodo, but no one was taking them. So
That brings us to the next one.
yes,
News from the Grail Guardians. We've had news from the ladies, from the field, from the general.
yes,
Now the Grail Guardians want to talk to us about virtues
yes,
and our defenders of the Grail.
yes.
So,
I think this is just
this was Renown and Audacity being reworked. Okay.
okay.
What you see is a work in progress, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
Book of Virtues.
and before people go bananas,
No. Go out and go bananas.
and rage against us on our post.
Oh, yeah, don't rage against us. Rage against somebody else.
If you haven't been to the Equitaine boards, they literally blew up after this was all posted.
Correct.
So you can add to the hate if you want to there, but the comeback was that they're going to look at it some more. So
Correct.
so that first thing they're going to go back and these things aren't final. I think this is going to be one of them. So.
I would hope by the reaction this generated that it would not be final.
Yes. So the new Renown. And of course, we don't know what any of these things cost. If they're like 5 points, I guess it helps. The one of a kind. Enemy models cannot take armor saves or special saves against the bear's close combat attacks that roll a natural 6. Rolled wound of 6. So basically, you get a lethal strike, whatever it's called now, and they can't make their special saves. If you roll a 6 to wound,
You can't make armor saves or special saves. What are
Yeah.
special saves in the new rules? Wonder.
I thought they were wards in regen.
Okay. So basically, no saves of any kind if you roll a 6.
I'm assuming that's what that means. Yes,
But it's only a single wound.
correct.
Yeah, and this was.
So it's no longer if you roll a 6, you get lethal strike and cause, was it D3 plus 1?
Yeah, this was met with a lot of.
Yeah, because this is I don't take it, but it's an extremely popular
I have it in almost every
virtue.
list.
Yeah, because the characters are the only things that can deliver for you in the army. That they're the things that make the army viable to any level against most opponents.
Okay. Audacity is a one-of-a-kind virtue.
This is the one I normally take,
The bearer ignores fear,
which is a
has
new thing,
+1 offensive skill,
which is
-1 defensive skill,
not good.
and kind of goes with audacity. You're just ignoring your defense and
I
hitting
understand.
something. And multi-wound 2 versus only things with towering presence.
Yes.
Yeah, this is kind of lackluster.
Yeah. So because you don't go, because
It's used to give you, what,
used
stubborn.
well, you used to get the 2 towering presence with the old questing vow, so it doesn't do that anymore. It used to give you stubborn against strength or toughness 5 opponents, and you got to reroll hits and wounds. So it's a big nerf on this one. Also, probably the most nerf of these.
Okay. Might, when using a lance, a bear gains devastating charge, +1 attack, +1 strength, +1 AP. When charging, everyone save wounds. Cause using a lance before applying multiple wounds causes another attack. Okay, this is the old might. This doesn't
Right.
look like it changed, which is kind of strange. Because this is the one that on paper looks fantastic until you have to roll dice and it never works.
Oh, it does occasionally, but you're going to see more of it if
Correct.
these other 2 don't change.
Oh, you're going to see it all the time if the other 2 are left like they are.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
Valor, one of a kind. The bearer automatically issues a duel whenever possible. This is what they're calling challenges now. This cannot be prevented by issuing a duel with another friendly model first.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
you can pick her. And this duel must be accepted whenever possible. When fighting a duel, the bearer must re-roll all fail to hit and fail to wound rolls.
Okay, so that's what it was.
It's similar.
Unless
Yes.
this part's new
I can't recall.
with another friendly model
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
That gives us to piety.
Mm-hmm.
The bearer and all rank and file models in the bearer's unit gain +1 ward to a maximum of 5+.
Yeah.
The bearer may only join standard size units. Oh, okay.
So this is kind of what it was. We don't know what the new blessing is, though, so I guess that'll depend.
Did this max out at 5 before?
Yeah.
Okay.
A few editions ago it was 4, but
Okay.
they stopped that because people were putting it in grails and,
Yep.
Yeah. Brings us to daring, one of a kind. When the bearer's unit rolls charge range, and when the friendly unit rolls for charge range towards the unit, in base contact with the bearer, roll 1 additional d6 and discard the lowest rolled d6.
This used to be the old add a D3 to your charge.
To your charge distance, yeah. So it helped you get a little bit farther with your charges.
Yeah, I'm not liking this too much.
Yeah, I think this is not good.
I mean, the extra D6 may help you. If you roll a pair of 6s, it does nothing for you.
Yeah, you're already rolling 3 of them, so rolling 4,
Right.
it's okay.
It's not terrible.
But the problem is you have to be in base contact.
I mean, it adds maybe, an inch or maybe an inch to your average charge.
Yeah. Compared to the thing we just read in the other army, which the EOS, which you get
Everybody within
with
6 rolls
gets,
their charge.
gets to re-rolls their charge. This is a poor
Yeah, pale substitute.
pale substitute. Now that one's only one. You can only use it once, but
Correct.
yeah, this is. I mean, I guess they're kind of think of it if you're having like a mixed type of army with infantry and cavalry, and somehow your infantry got up there first.
Well, the other unit won't get in the benefit unless you're already in base
That's what I'm
contact
saying.
with the enemy
So the infantry charged last turn,
and failed.
no, it made it. Oh no, it has. I'm sorry, no, because it has to be the guy who's charging.
has this has to be
Yeah,
in
so the
combat.
cavalry has to be up there and got in.
And the infantry following in the next turn will get a plus D6 to get in
Yeah,
there
and
with
then any friends that
you. Or
if the cavalry hasn't been wiped out in the following,
yes,
because it's the turn of charges, it should do okay unless it's against guys with spears,
yeah,
or great weapons, or
and it's supposed to help the guy coming up to help you.
and then you just have to make it through the opponent's melee phase when you don't get any bonuses, and then you
Right.
can come up and you can reinforce your 3 remaining knights with something else.
Brings us to humility. The bearer gains insignificant, has its commanding presence range increased to 12, and gains rally around the flag.
Yeah.
However, only units with more than half their models with insignificant may
Yeah.
benefit from this instance of rally around the flag. This virtue can be duplicated within the army up to twice.
This is basically the same as it was
The
before.
bearer gains insignificant,
Yeah, that's different, but
has its commanding presence increased to 12
from 6.
because all the knights have commanding presence
Right,
versus
over peasants,
peasants. Okay, rally around the flag. Okay, all right,
yeah. It's similar to what it was.
pretty close to what it was.
Yeah.
And next,
Okay, it just gets better. Okay, the new sacred reliquary appears to be less sturdy, losing a couple of wounds and toughness, but gaining more armor. Also gone are all the re-rolling ones for insignificant models, which was the main reason you took it, and that's stubborn. All of these changes have also made sacred reliquary no longer stubborn. We're impressed as to what was changing. The Crusader tried to explain. Holy Fervor, a unit joined by the sacred reliquary, gains fight and extra rank, which is okay.
fight and extra rank's decent.
Yeah. If the sacred reliquary is in base contact with an enemy model, the reliquary and all friendly units are engaged in the same combat game +1 armor. The Crusaders appeared, however, to be very steadfast when joined to this, whatever that means. So you get +1 armor save and fight and extra rank. So you're gonna, if you see this thing, which I'm not sure you will, but if you see it, I think you're gonna see it with those new Knights Forlorn. The sacred reliquary was identified by yada yada for peasant horrors. I don't see why you take it with those guys though.
But now
Yeah,
you don't,
no,
because who cares if your peasants are +1 armor?
exactly. And
Who cares if you go from 5 to 4?
yep, and or 6 to 5, depending on how you've got them.
I mean, you're better off buying more bodies than buying this thing if that's what you're looking
absolutely, and it's down wounds and down toughness.
for. Yeah,
So it's not very survivable.
Toughness, it lost a couple of wounds and toughness.
Yeah,
It used to be toughness 5, so if it
Yep.
lost any toughness at all, it's toughness 4 at best.
yeah. So many average troops will just wound it on a 4, and it's only got 4. I mean, it's only got 4 wounds remaining. Yeah,
So it's got 4 wounds being. Yeah, it's just terrible.
yeah.
Anyway,
Then below there, where was this written? I thought it was down here. Oh, here's a comment here which generated a lot of comments, but it was the way it was written, it was misunderstood. Where your arrow is. Noticing Grails gathered in
Right.
formations of 9, but never in single file. Even though I know his eyesight is fading, he assured me that there was no dams or nobility in sight. So this was interpreted to mean that we can now have units of 9 Grail Knights, because right now they're capped at 8, even though
Right.
the lance is 9. And people thought this damsel in nobility meant that you weren't no longer allowed to attach characters.
correct.
They came back later someplace and said that's not what it meant. So,
Right. So basically, what the end result of this whole thing was they raised the cap on Grail Knights to 9.
mhm.
So you can take 9 Grail Knights now. Is the end result of all
Correct,
this.
correct.
It was a highly debated, because it was interpreted based on the way they said it. It was interpreted to mean
Yes.
that you could not put.
But there was a
characters
clear, if you go through the 700-page thing, you'll
Yeah,
see
good luck.
comment rebates on that. And they also make reference to Pegasus Knights here, and basically they're going to lose skirmish.
in, because skirmish is changing.
Because
somehow.
skirmish, when what it sounds like is, from reading all these comments, is skirmish is going to get back its 360-degree line of sight. So so they're taking it away from like combat type of units.
Okay.
So that would, of course, granted, that would make Pegasus Knights crazy if they could charge 360.
Well, they were fantastic way back when they had that.
Yeah, so I'm curious if they'll give them hard target or not to compensate, but we'll, as an option, which I'd be surprised. You can't see that, so it'll be interesting what they do with that.
Right. All right.
So yeah, so that was that's the worst thing you're going to see on this army, and it's pretty bad. Actually.
It's pretty bad because I mean they killed the reliquary. They killed a couple of virtues that were used a lot. These 2 virtues were just
Yeah,
butchered, and
and
there was a
and the
loud
virtues.
outcry.
Oh yes, well, because the virtues trying to cover up for a lot of the weaknesses of the
Correct.
army. So
Yeah.
so you're not going to be able to use. It's kind of like in the old 8th editions, the character wall was used to cover up for the weakness of the army. So.
Yeah. And you can see there's 25 pages of this. At one point, this thread was locked.
It was locked. People
for
were
a day because
people were thrown off the
somebody was
boards.
banned.
It was banned. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It got really bad.
And there's some other posts too. But anyway, so we'll see. And then there hasn't been anything new in 2 weeks. I think they're still
Well, they came
talking
this
about
one.
it after After this one, sorry.
There hasn't been anything new
This week.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And now we get to the hereditary spell.
Right. Breath of the Lady. Hopefully it's a good breath. I hope there's some chiclets or some mints before she breathed on them. Natural to hit and to wound rolls of 1 with close combat attacks made by the target must be re-rolled. Natural armor save rolls of 1 must also be rolled.
Okay. So it's the old, whatever that spell used to be.
For this army...
This is a really nice
This
spell.
is very nice. It's not over the top, but it's nice because it helps the rubber lance and helps you get through the armor. Now, what I'm curious... I'm assuming it's a spell.
It said it is.
Yeah,
It said this is the hereditary spell.
Yeah, as far as you have to cast it.
Correct.
But it doesn't tell you anything about what it
It would
takes.
be nice if that's just a normal thing that goes with
if it was
every
like
lady that's in the unit breathing on them.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
So if you put a damsel in the unit, you automatically get this.
Yeah. Well,
Go
it would
with
be.
that.
It'd be interesting if it turned into an attribute. If she cast and this was the attribute. So that'd be
Yes.
very powerful. But yeah. Well, if it's a spell, because it doesn't tell you if it has a fixed range, if it's got an aura or not. So we'll just have to see.
Right. Yeah, we don't know the range. We don't know anything
Yeah.
on it.
If it's only on a single unit,
It's still really nice.
it's nice. Scroll down, please. I can't remember if there was something else on here or not.
No, this was it.
Yeah. Until I double check which spies I trust. Yeah, okay, usual stuff.
Right. So, again, looks like it could be interesting. We'll have to see
Yeah, we should see more about it, but it's
the range and things like that about it.
yeah, on the surface.
I know my problem is I usually have a unit way out in front of every other unit.
Right.
So this could be an issue.
So that's what the range is.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's only the range, the unit that she's in, then that's problematic. But if it's got a good range, or if it's got an aura range, if it's got a cast and an aura, then it can be very good. So, and depending what the cast, we just don't know enough about it, but it looks like it has the
It has the
potential.
potential of being very good.
being really
even
nice.
if it's just a base thing that you use on one unit within a decent, even 18 inches.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, no, it'll be something the army needs because it does have a problem. Depends on so much on the charge right now, and
And the rubber lance is just
it's
ugly.
bad enough when you don't make contact, but then when you do make contact and nothing hits,
In addition, it's helping your saves.
and
by
it helps you
rerolling
survive
ones.
a little bit. Exactly.
So, anyway. So that's that. That's going to do it for the Kingdom of Equitaine.
Yeah, so they have some definite little buffs here and there, and some big nerfs. So
Little buffs, big nerfs. That doesn't sound good for an army that's rated low.
yeah, well, it depends who you talk to.
I'm glad they're getting special attention.
Yeah, some people think they're rated they're too good, so because they're so mobile. No one that actually plays with them.
Okay, thank you.
You know.
I was wondering when we were getting to that point.
Yeah. And probably no one's actually played against them since 6th edition Warhammer. But,
Right.
Yeah,
They're having the nightmares of the knights charging. And
yes, and just
rolling right
wiping
through
out
your
everything
armies.
else. I think they have that stigma with them, unfortunately. Now, this is an army that
It's a tough army for them to deal with because it plays different. It has a different play style.
it
than
plays
anything
against a general concept of cavalry in the game. At least the people who own it want to be able to use cavalry as the primary weapon.
Because you want the knights in shining armor army.
Correct, but that's not how knights or cavalry generally works in the Ninth Age. It tends to be a support element that maneuvers and gets flanks. So, whereas if you play a cavalry army with these guys, you need to be able to attack somebody in the front, and you tend to. We'll see what they do with point costs because you tend to be heavily outnumbered, so it's hard to get a flank because they usually have more units than you do and can and chaff you and do everything else. So yeah.
Right, and if you do the all-night army, you're taking a 4,500 point army to the field that has 40, 45 wounds maybe in the army.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're doing an all-night army.
Yep, and now you're seeing all these spears in front of you and everything else. It's
yeah, and you can't avoid. And they say, well, you just avoid. Why would you go at the spears? Well, that's the only thing you see across from you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't have to go to spears. I can go with the great weapons.
that's true. Go charge the unit with the great weapons.
Yeah.
That'll work even better for
Yeah.
you. Anyway,
So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the rest of the thing.
all right.
But I said, I think until they do a major rework of the book, this is one of the armies that it's a round peg in a square hole. So
It is.
yeah.
Bring back the arrow formation, the lance formation, and that'll fix everything.
There was actually people asking for that, believe it or not.
Were there?
Yes, with all kinds of convoluted
Well,
spotting.
no one can
reasons.
ask for that because I finally got rid of my last movement trait.
Oh, did you?
That. Yes.
Did you do a ceremonial burning?
I didn't. I just kind of tossed it in the trash.
Okay. So, yeah, there are people showing pictures and doing all kinds of weird things.
After reading this November 1st upgrade, I kind of almost tossed it in the trash with the rest of my army.
Yeah.
Almost pulled a Lord Tremendous on that one.
Yeah, let's not go that far.
No.
But yeah, no, this is a game of squares and rectangles.
Right.
So there's
Not
no room
triangles.
for triangles.
It's hard enough to fit the circles in.
Exactly.
The
The circles are causing enough problems. Exactly.
Right. Hey, everybody. Just wanted to add this last piece to the Kingdom of Equitaine spoilers.
This is an appendage.
Exactly.
This was
An
posted
appendage?
before we got
Like
the
an
other
arm
thing
or a leg?
posted.
Is
Yes,
that what you're talking about?
And it could be when we read. Yes.
Yeah, we haven't finalized the edit. It hadn't finalized the editing of the full Kingdom of Equitaine spoilers, and this came out, so we figured we would just tag this on here at the end.
Exactly.
So let's start with this one. First thing we have is the Claymore, and the Claymore. Oops, we don't need.
It's a neat video if you ever go to that guy's channel. It's pretty cool. He's pretty cool with weapons.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, it's above.
Okay.
It's in the text.
So
So basically, from what we can, it's a new weapon. So for all your Equitaine guys who've been asking for, a cavalry sword, two-handed sword, whatever you want to call it, they finally granted it to Kingdom of Equitaine. But don't get too excited, because basically what they've done is the previous reported questing vow rule is now turned into a weapon instead. So basically, if you have the questing vow, we assume you get this new great weapon that counts as a great weapon, except you can use it together with the shield, so you don't have to give up your armor. In the first round of combat, if you're on foot, it counts as a spear. If you're mounted, it counts as a light lance. After that, it would always have to be a great weapon. So basically, it's the questing vow of the last update turned into a weapon. Interesting choice of weapons. The claymores.
Well, they may be doing this. Just sorry to interrupt, but I think they may
Yeah.
be doing this because of the kind of the complaints, or not really complaints, but the kind of thing that I've heard a lot is, well, why do Grail Knights forget what they knew when they were questing knights?
Well, it's part of it, and also why is the questing vow better than the Grail vow? So yeah,
Yeah,
for the points.
Correct.
No, my comment here is it's interesting they chose Claymore. I kind of hope they change the name.
Right.
But anyway, the
Scottish big huge claymore thing.
it's a two-handed sword used by
Right.
Scottish footmen. Go with there's a number of cavalry swords. There's a number of French and British weapons you could go along with. Anyway, just
to use the name.
yeah, just a different name, in my opinion at least. But so I mean, it does open possibilities. So even though they transferred it, I would say it is a buff. It's a buff because now it is a weapon, and weapons can get enchantments.
Okay.
So some of those enchantments we read in basic rules you can now apply to this thing. So that's pretty nice.
Okay.
Then
Next we have the Defender Shield.
yes,
It's a shield. It's a dominant, so you can only take this. Is the only. I guess you can only take one piece of armor with this.
right,
While the shield is in use, the bearer has its defensive skill set to 8 and its offensive skill set to 4.
so it's very defensive.
But yeah, and you lose your offensive. And any model that can allocate close combats towards you have to.
Right.
So
they
we talked about this earlier in the video.
right.
The old one was it set your to 8, it set your defensive skill to 8, it set your agility to 0. And enemy models with strength or resilience 5 or more that are in base contact had to allocate their attacks to you.
Right.
So now it's saying everyone has
Right.
to.
And it doesn't affect your agility.
And it's not affecting
It just
your
affects
agility.
your offensive weapon skill.
Okay.
So that's
It's actually gotten better than what it originally
I
announced as.
think I would say that this, in my opinion, this is better. Yeah.
Because all the attacks have to come at you.
Yeah. Was it dominant before?
It was not dominant.
Okay.
Listed as dominant.
So that would be the only minus you took there, because so you don't have an ability to to get a
Right.
other bonuses.
But before, only models with strength or resilience 5 it affected. So
No, I still think this is better. I'm just
get
saying I think
strength
that
4 stuff, this is much better.
the negative is you can't get more defense on your guy.
Correct.
Which I guess they were probably a little worried about, that you'd over tank him and you couldn't get through him.
Exactly.
And you'd shield the entire unit. So this still gives you a nice buff, because defensive skill 8 means a lot of guys are going to be hitting you on
5s.
On 5s.
Yep.
And he doesn't lose his agility, so he can still do something and not go last.
Mm-hmm.
But he, especially since the agility of the characters is pretty high.
Yeah, 5 or 6, depending on which one you are.
Is just he doesn't hit quite as well as he did before. So it's a nice thing for a BSB, I think.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
The next item was what? Last Night Standing. Dominant.
It's a great play on words.
Last Night Standing.
Yeah.
Dominant. One use only. Activate when the bear
the Last Night Standing.
Yes,
so yeah.
correct.
Comedy club.
Activate when the bearer reaches 0 or fewer health points. Do not remove him as a casualty. Instead, after resolving any other or all simultaneous attacks, such as shooting attacks from the same unit, all melee attacks at the same initiative, the bearer's health points are set to 1, and it gains a 3-up ward save, save, until the end of the player turn.
Right.
Again, pricing's going to decide what this is,
yes.
But to me this sounds like a really nice item. It's basically giving you an extra health point and making you not just an extra health point, maybe more, because of that last blow could have been a cannonball that did 4 wounds to you or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
It's just going to depend on if there are more attacks or not. But
right.
If there's still more attacks, it could be more health points because you get to use the 3-up ages. If it was the last attack, you're not going to get to use the 3 ages. So it would just be the 1 health point. But that's nice. Of course, it's dominant, so you can't get your save. Your save's going to be a 2 at best.
No, because this is a trinket.
Good point.
Not an armor.
It's not an armor update. It's a trinket.
It looks like it can be used with the defender's shield.
Yeah. No, that's my mistake. Yeah, so you can actually get your armor up to. You can bonus your armor up.
Yeah, or go to the defender's shield as well and make everybody hit you, and when they knock you down below 0, it doesn't matter. You pop back
you
up
come
at
back
1.
at 1 for a turn. Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, kind of interesting.
I mean, it's a nice army that it's a nice thing that keeps you guys around a bit. Depends what it costs, but
what's kind of interesting. I wonder how this would work. You put this on a guy.
Mm-hmm.
You charge into a unit with just this guy.
Right.
They do 6 wounds to you. Basically, it only counts as 2 because, whatever. They do 6 wounds to you. You're still alive with a wound.
Right.
What do they get for combat res?
Yeah, is it the wound they caused?
The 3 they did that actually killed you, but you got 1 back. The 6 they did, or the 2 they actually netted at the end result. I don't know. So anyway.
Yeah, that needs to be clarified.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of odd.
Because that's going to lead to discussions. Yeah,
it is. So anyway, but yeah, it's an interesting item. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And lastly, but not least, we'll talk about your guy.
Yeah, new Green Knight. I've always loved the idea of the Green Knight. I've never liked how it's been designed.
I've always had a major problem with the ambushing Green Knight where you never know when he's going to show up.
Yeah, I liked him when he could come back. the original Green Knight, right, with the Dolores blade.
Well, with their new push towards tournaments,
yeah,
the thing coming back is not going to happen.
I don't necessarily think it should happen. I'm just saying that was the only time I liked him.
Yeah, and it was also kind of impossible to price that guy.
Correct.
If he came back 3 times, then he was way undercosted.
Yeah, but from a fluff, he was interesting.
Yeah, because the Green Knight's the legendary Green Knight.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yes. I mean, the legendary Green Knight chopped things off. He picked them up and rode away and came back. You couldn't kill him, and he had a big axe. So at least from the Arthurian legends. But and I kind of wish that he would still be designed with that in mind.
Right.
So this doesn't quite follow that, I don't think, but they did some interesting stuff. So first thing, they dropped his leadership to 8. He's got Ghost Step, Terror, Super Null. I assumed it was a typo, but you told me that it's not a typo.
I don't think I've seen that
Supernal
before somewhere else.
instead of
I'm
Supernatural,
not sure where.
Supernal, whatever. Ladies Eternal Champion. Believe Ghost Step just means he can. He's got Strider through terrain,
So like the old ethereal,
like
probably.
the ethereal mount rule. I believe Terror is Terror.
Okay.
Supernal, I believe, is he's demonic.
The 5-up ward.
He doesn't necessarily have the 5-up ward, but he's got.
The crumble.
He's got the funny crumble
Yeah, yeah,
rule.
yeah.
They basically have to take a leadership check, and
Okay.
wounds
equal to what you lose by.
yeah. And Ladies Eternal Champion, which is mentioned below. Defense is basically the same: 3 hit points, resilience 4, weapons defense skill of 6, still 2-up armor save, still 6-up special save, mounts protection 1, barding heavy armor. It just tells you about that. Then he's got the Greater Blessing, which is mentioned below.
Well, you used to have a 3-up, 5-up ward save.
Correct. Otherworldly with 3-up against mundane, and then 5-up against magic attacks.
Okay.
So they're all magic spells, I guess.
So his
but
ward's definitely going down.
so it would
Sounds
seem so. He doesn't have he doesn't have the old ethereal thing. It doesn't look like, but we'll,
Right. Okay.
not sure though on his Supernal. Like, we could be wrong on that. Green Knight. He now has 5 attacks.
Okay.
Otherwise, he's same offensive scale, same agility, 6 and 6. He has now the Green Knight Sword. Hope they come up with a new name.
Axe.
Yeah, exactly. Magical attacks, loses great weapon, paired weapons master, which is fine. It was kind of a goofy thing anyway. So he just got one type of attack that he has. Okay. He has the Ladies Eternal Champion rule. It's a universal rule. The Green Knight cannot be deployed during the deployment phase. However, once per game at the start of any of your player turns, you must deploy the Green Knight within 6 inches of a friendly damsel. So, one is it's the beginning of your turn you deploy them. 2, you have to have a damsel, and it has to be within 6 inches of the damsel.
Okay.
Okay, the Green Knight cannot declare charges this player turn, because even though he's deployed at the beginning of the turn,
He showed up there.
he showed up there. And owing player cannot gain any veil tokens from channel this player turn. Well, we're not sure how channel generates veil tokens yet, I don't think. I don't recall seeing anything. I know how channel's going to work in the new rules,
Right.
magic rules, but channeling's doesn't seem to be much of a cost, but that's fine since it requires you to take a damsel. If the Green Knight has not been deployed at the end of the game, it counts as destroyed. So you need to be a little careful if you lose your damsel. If you have only one and you lose it, you could lose your Green Knight too.
That's true.
Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. But
Your
something
damsels
weird-
aren't that vulnerable.
something weird really has to happen, and
Or you're trying to hold this till near the end of the game for some reason.
for some reason, or maybe the miscast table is devastating, you know. But otherwise, I think you'd have to make a huge mistake for this to happen. While the Green Knight is within 12 inches of a friendly damsel, it gains Stubborn, which would affect its ability to fight, like blocks of troops and
Okay.
and not crumble away, and may issue and accept duels as if it was a champion.
So he cannot issue and accept duels.
If it's outside of 12
outside
from
12
the
of the
damsel, so
Okay.
works with the damsel. Then the grading,
And they're
but
duels now, not challenges.
yeah,
apparently.
sorry, yes, that would seem so. Yes, greater blessings, personal protection. The Green Knight gains the blessing if the army prayed. So the bad news here, it looks like they're still going to require Equitaine to pray.
Really?
It looks like, which is unfortunate,
So it means
unless it does something incredible.
Equitaine still appears to be giving away the first turn.
It would seem so. The Green Knight
Maybe
gains.
they made the blessing better than what it was.
Yes, we haven't seen anything to imply that, but maybe. If they did, then fine. If they didn't, then that's a whole other thing. The Green Knight gains Aegis +1.
There's not a lot of people that are going to be praying for a 6-up ward.
Yeah. Well, no. If it's only a 6-up ward, which it seems like, then yeah, he's
Anyway,
gonna. So he's gonna have a 5-up ward.
Okay.
The melee weapon attacks made with this weapon gain +2 strength, +2 armor penetration, ignore parry. So it's basically a great weapon that goes at initiative 6 and ignores parry. Ignores parry is a big deal.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. That'll help you get
Too many times you watch your knights just not do enough damage
Right.
against goblins, and because they have this rickety shield that seems to stop everything. So stat wise, he's a nice character stat wise.
You know, I'm wondering about this. This is kind of weird
Yes.
because he has a 6-up special save
Yes.
already. Huh. So I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Yeah. So we don't know.
Yeah, okay.
We'll just have to see what this bless. I mean, because clearly it's still going to be there. Clearly you still have to pray.
It's just,
What is it going to do?
and is praying praying is an option, so apparently
Right.
that is going to penalize you for not
Correct.
praying. Okay.
Correct. So we just don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot I'd like to know, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Now, we don't know what he's going to cost.
Correct.
So he could be basically an extra character. He's basically a character,
He is.
you know, with a useful array of weaponry and abilities.
Well, 5 strength, 6 attacks
Yeah.
is nothing to sneeze at.
Exactly. I'm saying he's with useful.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good. He's not super resilient, as from what we can tell, depending on what the blessing is.
What
but
the blessing ends up.
but he's resilient to block up a number of troops.
Mm-hmm.
If the Supernal is what we think it is, or what I think it is at least, it's the demonic thing. There is a chance that he could go up against the block and lose, and then he could pop.
Yeah.
Not a likely
I don't have
one.
a huge problem with a single model losing to a block, though.
Yeah,
for
I don't
whatever
necessarily.
reason.
If he runs away or whatever. But having said all that, I don't have a problem with any of that either. I'm concerned about how he's raised and what you can do with him.
I'll tell you right off, I'm thrilled with the way he's raised because of the ability to place it. Well, I'm thrilled with the way because it's no longer the ambushing thing where you're hoping to get him when you want him.
Correct.
If you don't deploy him up front.
That I like. I like
I like that.
I like you can get him when you want to get him.
Right.
I don't mind that he's tied to a damsel. To me that's the big weakness, right?
That is a weakness because means you're not playing an army without a damsel.
Correct. It means if you want this guy, you got to take a damsel.
Yeah, there's a tax involved.
Yes. So you can't play, magicless army
Right.
if you want to take this guy. The concern is he gets a full move after you've raised him.
So you deploy him within 6 of the damsel and he can move 16.
Yes.
So he can end up 22 away from the damsel is what we're saying.
Yeah. And at least you're going to end up at least, you can 12 maybe if you need to get that stubborn rule.
If you want to stay within the stubborn, you got to stay within 12.
Yeah, because I could just envision that you raise them, then you run them out in front of your lance. How many? 16 inches. Park them sideways in front of some block that you want to charge,
Right.
but you're not quite close enough to your lance. Now you bring up your lance to within 12 of this guy. The block is
Right.
blocked by him. Now the block has a choice. I can charge this guy and turn sideways and expose my flank to this lance that's now probably going to be,
Coming down.
instead of
running
12
down
inches,
this road.
now it's going to be like 10 inches away from
Right.
me. And I may or may not pop this guy. If I
Right.
don't, I'm going to be stuck there because he's stubborn, and now they're going to countercharge me and smack me in the
Correct.
in the flank. So best case, or maybe I do pop him, and then I get a chance to reform at least. But that to me is a bit. That's a little scary to me.
Yeah.
And if they don't charge, I just combo charge. Now I send my green lantern with my lance, and
Correct.
I get to boost my lance with these 5 strength 6 attacks.
Yes. And because lances are so thin, you can definitely fit them both.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works. I
Yeah.
like I like him a lot. I think it's kind of interesting because if you throw him, like you just said, the unit you use him as basically a piece of chaff.
Exactly.
Which is not necessarily strictly chaff. He's a
Yes.
chaff that's going to hurt you and lead you there for the other unit.
But he's a
to hit.
chaff, and he could be potentially a chaff anvil. Because if you came within 12, then I can, and you don't have like a character that I'm really scared of, I could even,
Right.
challenge
Well,
you
I'm saying-
off so I don't take any damage.
Then there's the other advantage of putting him outside the 12, so therefore he doesn't have to accept the duel,
Correct.
and he can beat on the unit.
And that's the other thing you can do with him, yes.
So you got a couple choices.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's very interesting. It's all point dependent, but I think
It's definitely point
it's
dependent.
a definitely interesting piece and can, like it is, have some nice.
Yeah.
The way you place him and move him on the first turn, it leaves some nice options for him.
Yeah. Just not a fan of the move. The placing I don't mind. It's the movement. Makes me a little queasy.
Okay. All right.
Or if you played him like at the beginning of the magic phase, and he wouldn't move. So
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of expecting.
yes,
I mean, when you first said something about where he gets placed, then I actually looked at it. Yeah, if they increase this to 12 inches of friendly damsel at the beginning of a magic phase, kind of reduces his flexibility. Because to be able to place within 6 and then move 16
I just think that yes,
lets him go wherever he needs to.
exactly. And then your unit gets to move after. You can, based on where he moves to, you move your unit. So
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So that's my only point of concern from
from being a little bit better than he should, maybe.
on an OP perspective.
Right.
So it might make the rest of them seem like he's OP because you can use him in a certain way. Maybe that's what they intended, but it just
Yeah.
seems to be a little.
No, this looks like a fine piece.
Yeah, of
The
course,
only
if he's 700 points, it doesn't matter.
correct. And what we also don't know is the blessing.
And we're
what
not
that's
sure.
gonna do
We're not
and-
sure about the blessing. But I've always loved the
Yeah.
concept of green light. I've used them a few times even when he wasn't good, just cause.
Yeah, this just has me worried.
Yeah.
The
Army praying. Yeah.
the pointing out the fact that the army is still going to have to pray just has me
Yes.
concerned. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
We're the only army that gives up the
Has to give up something for its.
army-wide special rule. or
Exactly.
whatever. But anyway,
If it was free, that'd be fine.
anyway, all right. Well, that was just a quick add to the other part. Not so quick, but an add to
Kingdom
the
of
other part.
Equitaine. Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Till next time.